Hello. As Evil Season 4, Episode 9 came to a close, Kristen, David, and Ben were spending some time together when a storm raged outside. They had no idea what evil that storm would bring, but by the end of Evil Season 4, Episode 10, they realized the actual battle with Leland Townsend had only just begun. Numerous times, the characters in Evil have been in peril. As an assessment team, David, Kristen, and Ben frequently stare at it. However, Cheryl's dance with the Devil's cohort brought everything to a halt. Ultimately, Leland's fondness for knife play was the least of Cheryl's concerns. Baptizing Timothy and foiling Leland's ambitions in public forced him to equal her daring. Leland wanted to kill Cheryl, and no Kevlar outfit was going to stop him. Cheryl was no longer battling alone, though. David had honed his remote viewing skills to the point where he could walk inside and control someone else. That sounded like a fantastic trick until Leland did the same thing to David. Father Dominic should have been more open about Leon. He just came into this universe, and our fearless trio has been battling the man on some level for years. It was unwise and unnecessary to conceal Leland's involvement with the church. Telling David to avoid Leland, who has been torturing Kristen and her family, was never going to work. Father Dominic would have to be insane not to recognize that if David got the chance to stop Leland, he would seize it. He was careless in his treatment of this, and it's difficult not to consider him partially responsible for Cheryl's death. Nobody realized how serious a menace Leland was until now. Well, the crowd did, and Cheryl caught the notion, but the others frequently dismissed it. Sure, it's always been on the outskirts, but as Kurt Fuller pointed out when we spoke earlier this month, it's as if these people's memories are wiped on a regular basis. Perhaps it is the only way to withstand such suffering. Your brain must take control and moderate thoughts that would otherwise drive you insane. Kristen has been telling her girls to keep track of Leland's actions for months, and she is unfamiliar with how they engage with him. I do have a question concerning Leland's past, however. How deeply buried was his connection to the church, which we didn't know about until he entered it? He was welcomed as an apprentice to learn about God before being abruptly expelled during a mini-tribunal. Didn't someone tell the parish about his previous education? For God's sake, he collaborated with the entity. Shouldn't that have been relevant information to share? He was trained in the same manner as David, which could explain why he readily influenced people like Dr. Boggs. Was he mentally controlling Boggs? If so, why couldn't he get Kristen to work with Timothy? They're unraveling as a result of this discovery, but with only 4 episodes remaining, we must simply accept it. Maybe it will be clarified, or maybe it was supposed to be explained in future seasons. That is no longer possible. So, let's talk about what we can do today. This brings us back to Cheryl. It's difficult to understand what Cheryl was thinking as she attempted to face Leland alone. She knew he was going to kill her and had planned for it. She was going to fight until the end, but she realized her chances were slim. For the majority of this season, I've been unsure if Cheryl was with or against Leland. Part of this is attributable to Christine Lottie's multifaceted performance. Cheryl desired power. She desired agency. However, bringing Leland and his weird methods into her life caused more harm than good. Her pursuit of a dangerous man was amusing, and this contributed to my difficulty to think she had changed. There are others. Kristen made it plain several times that if Cheryl stayed with Leland, their relationship would suffer, so when the rubber hit the road, Kristen was uninterested in hearing Cheryl's side, and because we all adore Kristen, our allegiance was with her. Still, after she made the decision, Cheryl went to enormous lengths to secure assistance. She went to David in the confessional on Evil Season 4, Episode 8, and now Dr. Boggs for help. As soon as she handed him the letters, it was evident that she was not going to make it out alive. Cheryl had the upper hand over Leland and would have won if she hadn't hesitated to make a humorous comment for her victim, which a demon took advantage of. Leland couldn't have defeated Cheryl without assistance, which provides some hope that our team can eventually vanquish him once and for all. But hope springs eternal, and when Cheryl was in the hospital, I was optimistic that she would recover. It's painful to lose Cheryl at the end, and I won't lie, when she died, I cried. Cheryl Luria is a character for all ages. And, while they exchanged few words, what happened between mother and daughter as Cheryl took her final breaths was lovely. So Cheryl did her part, but will it benefit or damage our team's efforts against Leland? Don't allow Leland and Leslie's arrests to give you any reason to believe that Leland will go down. Nobody can let their guard down. Being behind prison means nothing when you have the ability to infiltrate people's brains like Leland. David, who has already been subjected to mind control, may be able to help the others comprehend how it feels. Something tells me they'll let down their guard now that baby Timothy has entered the building. Kudos to Katja Herbers for her stunned expression when